Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jasmine, your brow expert. I hope to be your brow expert if I'm not already. So today's video is about thin, sparse brows to go a little fuller without looking too funny, without looking too trendy and over exaggerated. And I'm also going to throw in a little bit of trimming as well. So if you struggle with thin, sparse brows and want to learn a little bit of trimming, this may be the video for you. And definitely share this with anyone that you know is struggling with that as well, right? So my brows have been tattooed a long time ago, so I always use myself as a model as well with a little bit of concealer over it. Some of you guys are new, so that's something that you will now know because you're going to subscribe and then you're going to be like, oh, her brows are tattooed. I have been shaping eyebrows for 25 years at the Anastasia salon in Beverly Hills, and I'm still there. And some of you guys have come by, gotten your brows shaped, trusted me with your eyebrows, so thank you so much. It's been fun and a pleasure meeting you. Okay, so I will bring on the model and talk about a little bit of that trimming first. You guys ready? So she's got thin eyebrows, like I said, and actually they're also sparse, right? But up in the front is what I want you to look at right now. One side grows higher, which the side that grows higher, the hair that is, the hair, it starts a little bit further in, so it should go further in closer to the nose bridge. The other side, as you can see, the hair grows down and almost kind of curls. So it looks like she really has no hair up there. So the one that grows up is probably your favorite eyebrow because it just structurally grows up and her brow bone is up. So that is what we're going to focus on, aside from a few other things. Right here, like I mentioned earlier, the hair being long, right? So that's going to be a little tricky, but in this case, I don't think so because it's so long, right? So pay close attention to how I'm going to trim this because I get asked that a lot. How do you trim brows that are really long? I often tell my clients it's a little trickier than tweezing eyebrows, so take your time with that. So yeah, we're going to outline the eyebrows first because I want you to see also the side that is naturally lower, you want to go higher, and the side that's naturally higher, you want to go a tiny bit lower. Now, I say tiny bit on this because even though the brows are thinner than she would like and you might want it fuller, you don't want to exaggerate it too full, right? It's always about going fuller as possible, not just full for being full big eyebrows. You want to match your face, right? So that's what I want you to focus on with the outline going a little higher. And so for me, my side, this side is actually naturally lower, so I like to go a little higher here. And then here, this is naturally higher, so I like to go a little lower here. So the trimming is the fun part for me always, especially when I'm showing you guys how to trim. Like I said, it's a lot more difficult to trim sometimes because we can over trim. In this case, it's so long that you won't run into that problem. I don't have long hair like this, so I'm not going to show you, but look at this. It's going right in the middle of the eyebrow. Because when you let it go, it gets a little shorter. You can always trim more if it's not enough, but just snip a tiny bit. And again, you can go back and trim more if you like, but I always like a little bit of length, which is why I comb the other side on the side of the eyebrow. Because even though you see a little bit of hairs coming out of that brow line, that's okay because that adds that natural wispy look. So again, just a little trim, and even if it's a tiny bit longer, especially for sparse brows, just kind of gives it a nice comb over. Here's the brows. Now I just shaped the eyebrows, meaning I waxed, as you can see, a little bit of that pink on the skin. Waxing is important when you have sparse brows because it really makes it look a little thicker when you wax off the fuzz around the eyebrows. So the highlighter, I often use a Pro Pencil. Pro Pencil is an eyeshadow base, so you can put that all over the eyelid and some eyeshadow over that. So I like to do this sometimes first, especially when you have sparse, thin eyebrows, because it kind of creates like a highlight, like a outline. So right here, you put it right underneath the eyebrows first right now. And like I said, it creates like a nice little highlight border for you to see, again, where to fill in the eyebrows. Because after it's been waxed and shaped, obviously all the outline and shaping, the penciling disappeared. But I'm going to leave mine on. So right underneath, hopefully you can see on my eyebrow. I'm not going to blend it in too much so you can see that highlighter right underneath. And when you just do this underneath your eyebrows, it just kind of creates, again, that light stencil, makes it that much easier. You can always blend it in later with the brush 18. I'm using the Ebony Brow Wiz. Now, is it too dark for her? Yeah, because I'm using Ebony for myself. But the reason I'll tell you in just a second why I chose the ebony for her. But here you go. That side, remember, the brows are too far in. And did you see how I just went in further? The other side, I'm focusing a little bit on the higher side because that brow is naturally lower, right? So, but I just went in here first because I want you to see that. Check out that color in the middle of that eyebrow right here, because the one that's too far in, I went in the middle of the eyebrow. Did you notice that? Not up here or down below. I went in the middle. Very easy to do, right? I think most of us do this. So mine is going to be very dark and exaggerated. In case I didn't mention earlier, you know, because their tattoos have that concealer underneath. Look at this. Now I go above that middle line I made. So the reason why I always want to focus on this or emphasize is that it creates a fuller look, but you're not cheating yourself. It's not over exaggerated. She still has hair above that middle line, right up here, right? So you want to go above there. It's easy though to go square. So make sure you go in these little circles. Now I'm going below, but not too, just a little bit. Right in that little pocket is where I'm going below. I'm going to have to ask you to excuse me for my crazy brows because it's going to be crazy. But I just want you to see me holding the pencils. And so I think it's important for you to see how I'm doing it, right? So you can see if you can do that. So right here, again, this is naturally higher, right? So I went a little bit lower. But when I say lower, I'm not exaggerating too low. And don't forget that middle, the front lower part. So you remember you went above and then you go a little bit lower. So that way it's a fuller kind of look, right? It is fuller. But you're not exaggerating it. And right here in that middle pocket, on her middle area, right there where the arch is, it's slightly going, you're focusing on some color right there. So that way you're bringing it a little bit lower. Now the other side, remember, it's naturally lower, so you want to go higher. And so did you notice that I'm scratching? Now look at this. I'm putting that dark color there just because the reason why I want you to see this part is because the ebony, typically she can get away with ash brown, even medium brown. It's a lot lighter, but it has a lot of warm tones. So I actually like the ebony on her. But if you press hard, especially up in the front, it can go on dark. So the other reason is, the other point of this video is that the pressure matters. If you press lightly, you really just control the application and you can build on that. And this is what I'm doing on her. I'm going a little bit higher. Now, my brows are gonna look really full and crazy, but I'm going a little bit higher here because it's naturally too low. So, and I am just, even on myself, I'm lightly scratching the eyebrows, but focusing above here, and I focus down here, right? But I'm gonna put a little bit here because I feel like I look really bare. But so right over there where the white outline is, most of us has this. I do a little bit. This side just kind of goes in that side. So I didn't. I did pencil it in there, but I might have not focused in drawing them in. But go further out. See, going further out. I'm just going back and forth with her just to kind of tighten up the color, but I'm going further out here because that side is a little bit lower. So it just pushes the eyebrow up. So it doesn't have that kind of slant low look. Now I'm going above the eyebrows. I often use the highlighter pro pencil above the eyebrows. On me, it's going to look really bright, but I just want you to see so that way you get the idea. Especially for sparse brows. Sparse brows really help show off the brows even more. So something like this is essential, I believe now. I didn't think of it as just absolutely important, but now I think it's very important because most of us, as we age, it gets so much more sparser. Our brows are not as densely populated as it once was, right? So highlighter above the eyebrows, I believe, just makes it that much important because it really shows off the eyebrows, I think, without you having to struggle and put a lot of color. We all want that natural look, right? So that's what's going to give that natural look. So I'm just going to really emphasize the highlighter above my eyebrows so you can see that. I didn't blend this down here too much, but the clear brow gel, I always say clear brow gel is important, right? Because in this case, as you can see, she has hair and there's that pencil as the background now, but the brow gel really just shows off the strands of hair. I often use the strand because when you apply a little bit, remember, a little goes a long way. It not only keeps the pencil on a little bit longer, it just shows off the hair. So I'm all about showing the hair. I don't like the pencil dominating the hair if you have the hair. Very, very different if you don't. Pretty before and after, right? I wanted to do this video because, and look at that front area. Remember the before the brows were further in the eye? Now the after it's a little bit further, but it doesn't look funny. It doesn't look exaggeratedly, is that a word? Exaggeratedly. It's not exaggerated more up in the front. It just looks natural, it looks normal. Yeah, so the reason why I chose this video is because I know so many of us have thin brows, sparse brows, especially when we're maturing, right? I'm 57, but you know what? I didn't have much hair to begin with, so that's why I tattooed my eyebrows or microbladed, whatever you want to call it now. But I imprinted my eyebrows because I was so bare. But this is just something that I think anyone can do. You don't have to go big just to go big. It's got to balance, right? And there's got to be enough space on the eyelid as well just to do eye makeup, right? But this is a really good before and after, and simple enough, I hope, but beautiful. So thin brows going a little bit fuller and a little bit darker without it being too exaggerated. And trimming those long pieces of hair. I think those are the most important things about this video. If you found it to be helpful, please give me a like and let me know. And definitely share this with, I think we all know someone with thin and sparse brows, right? So they can benefit from this tip. And thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your support. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for the comments. That does help me to get better at what I do, because I want to bring out good content, but of course I just mainly want to bring out good educational content. And I will see you guys right back here.